I want to welcome you here to the groundbreaking ceremony for Coolidge Park Apartments. This has been a long time coming, as some of you know. Others might think this just sprung up overnight, but the reality is we've been working on this project for many years. The acquisition of the school building required us to deal with 3 or 4 different superintendents. We've had difficulties and troubles, but we're here, and the groundbreaking will commence. So I'm going to be your MC today and ask that everybody come up in the order that they're listed on the program. There have been a few minor changes, but we'll get through it. So the first person I would like to ask to come up is our board chair for Communities First, Jason Paulatier. And Jason has been a friend to the organization and has been an advocate for community development work all across the state. So we greatly appreciate him being here. Thank you, Jason.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Essence. I dropped my phone over there, so I dropped my speech, and that kind of gave me a little bit of pause. So my name is Jason Paulatier. I'm the Vice President of Community Development for PNC Bank, and I bring you greetings on behalf of the Board of Directors of Communities First, Inc. We're grateful for your support and presence here today as we celebrate the groundbreaking of Coolidge Park Apartments. What once was a school will now become, or will soon become, housing, a community center, and retail space. Serving the community is at the core of this organization, and I am proud to serve as the board chair. I was promoted to board chair just this year. I choose to be a part of this organization because of its mission, to build community, to build healthy, vibrant communities through economic development, affordable housing, and innovative programming. Some of our other board members are here. Evelyn Nartelski, say hello. And Sandra Kelly, back there in the back working the table. That's the other thing about this. This is a working board, so they put us to work. Unfortunately, 3 of our other board members were not able to make it today. Tiffany Hughes, Judge Gwynn, and Kitty Moeller. But I would like to thank them for their commitment to Communities First, Inc. In projects like this one. So I hope each of you feel welcome. Again, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your support of this organization. And with that, I think I'm going to take my seat. Essence.
We forget that Jason is a very tall person, so I'll make that adjustment. Our mayor, Dr. Karen Weaver, has been a supporter of this organization since she's been in office, and we are grateful to her and the rest of the City of Flint team. And it would be wrong of me to try and mention everyone, but in particular, is Kevin here? Kevin in the planning department, we greatly appreciate him. Kristen Stevenson has been a help, and she actually became a volunteer with the organization. I'm sure that I'm forgetting lots of people, so I apologize for that. But those are the ones that I see out here at the moment. But yes, so thankful for the City of Flint's support, and we would like to have Mayor Weaver come up and share her remarks.
Thank you. Well, first, good afternoon, but I wanted to start by saying, Essence, you all know how to throw a groundbreaking for sure. Between the balloons, the music, I said, but this is a celebration. And so we're really excited to be here to celebrate with you. So I just really want to thank you, and I want to thank Glenn. I want to thank Elga Financing, Chase, Alliant Capital, and Seawick for this amazing and exciting reinvestment, redevelopment that's going on here. I do need to just take a moment to acknowledge a few people, and I want to acknowledge Derek Mathis. Where are you, Derek? There you are, from Senator Stabenow's office. We have Chris Flores from Congressman Kildee's office. I saw Senator Ananick someplace. There he is, and Councilman Winfrey. I wanted to acknowledge them, but this just goes to show how important this is and what you all are doing and bringing to the community. So on behalf of the City of Flint, I want to thank you all for being here and joining us, because this is a momentous occasion. It really, really is. It's a great way to end the week, is what we've all been talking about. And this groundbreaking ceremony is just another step in the comeback story of the city of Flint. That's what we keep saying. We have this comeback story, and we know that as the city continues to develop economically, it's going to draw more and more people and residents to the city, and they need safe and affordable housing. And that's what this is providing. And, you know, I just want to say that I'm excited that Communities First, a local nonprofit developer, always puts the community first. You put the community first in your programs and your activities and taking on this project. That's what you've shown. And your continued investment in Flint and additional housing and commercial opportunities are the kinds of things that people need to see happen and want to see happen, especially in the midst of moving to recovery, because that's what this shows people, that we are moving toward recovery. And it shows the citizens of this city that we haven't given up hope. Things are going well, and that we are going to continue to build a city where you can raise families and retire safely. That's what we want to do. And this project, it comes in at about $16.5 million. And the city's contribution to the Coolidge development is more than $766,000 in home funds so far, and we're also providing a pilot. So these are funds that are really well spent to ensure that this vacant and blighted school building that's been closed since 2011 will be redeveloped into 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments. And once the construction is complete, this is going to create about 12 full-time permanent jobs, and the average hourly wage is going to be $21.25. So these are good jobs. These are good jobs. Thank you for that. And I mean, look at the location. This location is perfect for families. It's a great area. It's a great area. It's down the street from McLaren Hospital, not far from shopping and restaurants, and I can't wait to visit. I cannot wait to visit once it's finished and we have our first resident move in. But before I end, there you are. I would like to thank Suzanne Wilcox, who is the Director of the Planning and Development for the City of Flint. Suzanne, thank you so much for everything you and your department have done. And I want to wish the best to Communities First as they move into the construction phase of this project. Thank you for everything that you all have done for this community. Thank you so much, and for your continued commitment to Flint excellence. Thank you, Essence. Thank you.
All right, so I just want to let Suzanne know that I didn't forget her. You're hiding behind somebody's head. But thank you, and also Steve Branch. And one thing that I will say about your team and your staff is they're always responsive. So if we send an email or we make a phone call, we get a response. And sometimes you don't always get that. And I will say I appreciate while you were up here, you were using the Communities First pen. So let's keep that marketing going. Thank you. All right, next up we have Karen Church, who is the CEO of Elga Credit Union. And for Elga, this wasn't one of their typical types of projects that they do. So she worked with her team to make it happen, and we're grateful that you were willing to take the risk and invest in the community in the way that you did. Thank you.
Well, I just have to start out by saying we just really thank God for Essence and Glen and their resilience and their persistence to get things done. We've heard it a couple of times in just a general conversation. They know how to bring the people together and work through it. And we think it's easy, but we just heard it's not always easy, and it takes a lot of dedication to what you're trying to do to stick with the game, especially when you have so many people telling you now or in a month or so. So congratulations. This is a great day for sure, for you, for our community, and for all of us that are here involved. And I'm just so delighted to be a part of it with Elga Credit Union in this community, always trying to build it up so that we can have retirees that stay here when they're done. So thank you so much for inviting us.
Next up, we're going to have Jack Bernhardt, who is the Executive Director of the Community Development Group at Chase Bank. And Jack has been with us for a number of years in terms of working with us with financing. And we are appreciative to him for, really just pushing the bar sometimes, because we ask for things that aren't always conventional or traditional, and our timelines don't always match up with what he wants to see happen. But we keep, poking and prodding, because that's what it takes in order to get projects like this to happen. So Jack, come on up and share your remarks.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Essence. First of all, it's great to be here because, as Karen was saying, these projects don't happen overnight, and there are always things that happen to delay them, and this project was no exception, but we got there. So thanks to Glen and Essence and their team. They are great at how do you get over these obstacles. So I say with community development, I always say there are the 3 Ps: patience, persistence, and perseverance. And they exhibit all those all the time, and that's why we're here today. So congratulations to you and your team. We at Chase, this is one example of the type of lending that we do all over the country, and this is our second project with Communities First. We worked with them on these Swayze Court Apartments, and are proud to be partnering up and be a part of the team to finance the construction of this and see this building, great building, it's a really nice looking building, be put back into service and come back to life and be an anchor again for this neighborhood. So we look forward to seeing the construction. I know it's already started, and seeing the building finished and seeing people living in this building. So congratulations.
So for anybody that was at, I can't remember if it was the Oak Street grand opening or if it was the Swayze grand opening, I want to say that Jack may have borrowed those 3 Ps from Glenn, because he is known to have shared those in the office and also in one of his previous speeches. But we'll allow you creative liberty, and you can use that anytime you want. All right, next we have Tim Allen, who we know from a variety of different means. He's a friend, he's a former Coolidge Elementary School student, and he's gonna share what his Coolidge experience is like. And I'll just say this, we put on the agenda 2 to 3 minutes. We're gonna limit him to that, because anybody that knows this gentleman knows that he has a wealth of history, a wealth of knowledge to share, but unfortunately we only have 2 to 3 minutes to hear a brief version of it.
I timed it last night. Before I start on this little speech I have here, I got to tell you that a lot of times when Glenn and I talk, it's on Facebook at 2 in the morning. And one time, about 4 weeks ago, I said, "When do you in essence sleep?" He said, "About 2 hours, from 3 in the morning to 5 in the morning, and the rest of the time we're off doing stuff." My parents, Terry and Lucille Allen, came to Flint with my sister, Sharon, when she was 4 years old in 1954, from where the Mississippi Delta begins in the Boot Hill of southeast Missouri, between the St. Francis and Mississippi rivers, for the next chapter in their lives. They rented a home on the southwest corner of Van Buren and Westcombe, across the street from Coolidge. My sister entered kindergarten September of 1955, and in the next couple of years they moved to McQueen Street, near the Court, Beecher, Bradley intersections today. Then I came along in 1958 and became a student here at Coolidge in September of 1963. Coolidge became a very important part of our family for many years. It was at Coolidge that I learned my ABCs, how to count to 100, the different shapes, printing, writing cursive, doing art, learning about great things in history locally, statewide, nationally, and around the globe. And I learned to square dance and waltz in gym class with Mrs. Flynn. That was part of the Flint School's curriculum back then. And coming from a Southern family, I was brought up on bluegrass, country western, gospel, and rock and roll music. But it was at Coolidge that the people from the Flint Institute of Music came to share their music with us students, Mr. and Mrs. Beard. And that was when I began to learn about and enjoy classical music too. I was here when the first male principal and first male teacher arrived during my 6th grade. Mr. Zellers, the principal, and Mr. Jorgensen, the teacher. Mr. Jorgensen brought Black Thunder with him when he arrived in Coolidge, a wooden swatter. One day, a few of us boys were not nice to some of the girls. Mrs. Anderson, you may remember that since you were a 4th grade teacher here. So Mark Bazinski, Tommy Goss, Robbie Unger, David Sorsher, and I met Black Thunder, if you know what I mean. We were later told in life that we experienced the first and the last swatting ever at Coolidge School. But there was one day and one moment that I will never forget in my life at Coolidge. It was on November 22nd, 1963, when I was sitting in the kindergarten room near the wooden dividers on the floor. Our principal, Miss Bernice Robinson, came into the room and said, "Boys and girls, your parents are coming to pick you up and take you home. President Kennedy has been shot." And so I sat on the floor. With the other children in a quiet room until our mothers and fathers came to get us. It was very silent. However, until the embrace of my mother's arms were around me, I did feel safe in the walls of John Calvin Coolidge Jr. Elementary School of Flint. So on behalf of all of the students who attended here over the years, I say thank you, Glen, Essence, the Board of Directors of Community First, your staff and your volunteers for bringing hope to all of us with the development of Coolidge Park Apartments. May God's blessings be with all of you in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for those remarks. Next, we have Sue Goring, who is the Vice President of the Glendale Hills Neighborhood Association, who we first met with when we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with this building. And we truly believe in community engagement. We didn't come and say, here's what we're planning to do, give us your blessing. We said, what would you guys like to see and how can we make it work for the financing, for the community, for the neighborhood, because these are the folks that live here. They care about the school, and we've gotten several calls from neighborhood residents that said, hey, there's a broken window, you guys might want to board that up, or, well, it's been a little while since the grass has been cut, can you make sure that gets done? And we greatly appreciate you guys as partners. So thank you for coming and sharing your remarks.
My name is Sue Goring, and I'm going to be speaking for our neighborhood association, and particularly Laverne McGowan, who is our president of the neighborhood association. I have 3 points that I want to make today. The first is I want to talk about the neighborhood and the neighborhood association. And secondly, I want to talk about the impressions that we have of Communities First and our relationship with Communities First as we have been going through this process with them. And then third, what the Coolidge Project means for Glendale Hills. Glendale Hills neighborhood is bordered by Sunset Drive on the, I shouldn't start with directions, I'm just gonna tell you streets. Sunset Drive, Bradley Avenue, a little bit of Court Street, and Beecher Road, and Ballinger Highway. By comparison with other neighborhoods, we're really very small. We only have 455 houses in our neighborhood. We are the only neighborhood in the city that has a hill on every street with the exception of one street in our neighborhood that's a very short block. We take great pride in that, as you could tell. Our neighborhood association was organized approximately 10 years ago. We are governed by a set of bylaws carried out by officers and the board of directors. We meet monthly at West Court Street Church of God on the third Thursday of the month. West Court Street Church of God very graciously opens a room for us so that poor church mice like we don't have rent to pay. Everyone in the neighborhood is a member of the organization for a minimal $15 annual dues. The mission statement of our neighborhood is to create a safe, attractive, welcoming place in which to live. Thanks to Habitat for Humanity, the Community Foundation, where's Sandra? She had to leave. Oh, Isaiah, and I'm looking for Sandra. Thank you, Isaiah. And McLaren Hospital, we've been able to earn a number of grants which we have used toward implementing our mission statement. So we have filled wooden barrels with seasonal flowers to decorate the perimeter of our neighborhood. We have a sturdy, elegant bench and wastebasket that sit at the bus stop on Westcombe Avenue at Beecher. And we have perennial gardens at the corner of Sunset and Ballinger, which are maintained by our members. We also have periodic and sometimes spontaneous litter pickups to keep the neighborhood clean and looking good. Our impressions of Communities First and their relationship with Glendale Hills. Communities First is first known as a first-class organization. It has an excellent reputation for its quality projects in the city of Flint, and all you have to do is look around at Oak School Senior Living and Swayze Apartments for two wonderful examples. Both Essence and Glen Wilson have made themselves available to answer our many questions, as Essence pointed out, as they have looked at the Coolidge School property for possible development. The Wilsons clearly wanted Glendale Hills to be involved in suggesting aspects of the future Coolidge Park, because early on they attended two of our meetings, our neighborhood meetings, and to gather our opinions and our ideas for the project. Then they returned a third time to show us the artist's renderings of the project. I see a connection between the mission statement of Communities First, which is perhaps a little more elegant than ours, but our mission statement as well. Communities First has their mission statement in part to build healthy, vibrant communities. And ours is to create a safe, attractive, welcoming place in which to live. And I see a connection between those two. They're operating perhaps on different planes, but we're both going ahead. So what does the project mean for Glendale Hills? It means that Coolidge comes alive again. And I also, Tim, am a former Coolidge School student, as you know. And Peggy and Dick and I didn't know that. It means that someone is investing in our neighborhood, in our future. It means that this dear 100-year-old building will again have a purpose. Once a school, in recent years an abandoned, decaying building, but soon a vibrant transformation with apartments, shops, and a community gathering place. It means that Glen and Essence Wilson envision promise in our neighborhood. Knowing that and to have their support is incredibly important to Glendale Hills. So welcome to the neighborhood, Coolidge Park.
Thank you, Sue. And I think you're finding out what we're finding out. Many more students went to this school than we could ever have imagined. And we keep getting Facebook messages and calls and, people wanting to know, when are things going to happen? When are things going to progress? So that's really exciting for us to meet the former students, and maybe one day we'll have a Coolidge reunion. That would be fun. Next, we have our 6th Ward Councilman, City Councilman Herbert Winfrey, who's going to come up and share remarks, as he's been a supporter, and we've heard him in meetings sharing why this project was important for this neighborhood and advocating for his ward.
Good afternoon, everyone. I saw the mayor step up there, and I thought I could do it with ease. I probably should have taken those stairs over there. But listen, to the Wilson team, Glen in essence, and certainly to Communities First, I want to personally thank you as the council person for this ward for building this community, empowering people, and for the wonderful work you do, not just in the 6th Ward, but keep doing it in the 6th Ward, but all over this community. How many people, just by a showing of hands, are here that live in the 6th Ward? I have to, right? Okay, good. So you see, they are supportive, we are supporting you, and I'm telling you, I am looking forward to being here when you open up this place for folks to come, and I know that you're going to do some more work, more projects in the 6th Ward. Oh, don't tell them yet. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I really appreciate it, and I want to thank all of the partners who made this thing happen. I know it was the brainchild of the Wilsons, and we've talked about it. I've tried to be an advocate for it, and it just makes our community look good, and I'm just excited about it. So thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Stay in the 6th Ward.
Thank you, Councilman Winfrey. I will say that, we've had other council persons try and, lure us this way or that way, but we're looking for good projects in communities where we can partner with neighborhood groups and residents, and wherever that happens to be in the city, hopefully in the 6th Ward. Okay, fine. Since that's where we are today, we'll let him have that. Next up, we're going to have Kimberly Roberson, who's the Flint Program Director for the CS Mott Foundation, and she's going to come and share her remarks. We're grateful to the CS Mott Foundation for when we had that gap in funding, as Jack spoke about, that they were able to and willing to contribute in a substantial way, and we're greatly appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you. It certainly is a pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Mott Foundation, and you all know Ridgway would have loved to have been here. Unfortunately, he's traveling, but he's certainly excited about the project as well, and I bet he'll do anything he can not to miss the opening, even though he's having to miss the groundbreaking. As I was chatting with the mayor a little bit before we started, I said it sure is a good thing that we all bring different skills to a community, because the kinds of things that Communities First does are not things that very many people know how to do. So these have been some amazing projects, and here's another one that we can all be very excited about. At the Mott Foundation, we have the opportunity to be involved in a lot of really exciting and interesting projects, but I would just note that it's particularly gratifying to be involved in one that's going to have the magnitude of impact and immediate effect on the families that are going to have the opportunity to move into these apartments, along with the neighborhood that's going to have the opportunity for some real excitement and renovation and forward movement. So we're thrilled to be here today, thrilled to be part of the project, and wish you all the best.
So often People mention, thank you to Glenn, thank you to Essence Wilson for all of your work. And honestly, we're the people that just, stay until 6 or 7 or sometimes 10 o'clock when we have to meet with the Historic District Commission or the Planning Commission. So we're maybe a little bit more well-known than some of our other staff members, but I do want to acknowledge our Real Estate Development Director, Mike Wright. Wave your hand. All right. She's gonna hide back there, but Dina Johnson is our program associate, so she's waving there. And she's responsible for coordinating a lot of our community programs, the Green Life program, Culture Shock, and she has become a master at making sure details are taken care of. So, Glenn and I didn't show up at 2 o'clock or 2:30 or 2 o'clock like she did, because we already knew that, the chairs were going to be where they were supposed to be and things were going to be taken care of. Molly Mueller, Supportive Services Coordinator over at Swayze and Oak Street. We've got a couple of AmeriCorps members, Charnay Courts and Micah Paulatier. Wave, come on. All right. And then, of course, we always have lovely volunteers, so those folks will be wearing green lanyards, so be sure to say hi to them as you're moving through. I didn't forget anybody, did I? Did we hire somebody? Yes, we did. We hired somebody, and where's she at? Rachel. Oh, okay, somebody was standing in front of her. So please stop doing that to me. Anyway, Rachel, who is, did my power just die? Okay. My two, that was good. All right, did we get unplugged here? Anyway, I'll just talk really loudly. So Rachel, who just joined the team not long ago, and she's assisting with some of our fund development efforts. So thank you all for being here and for being a supportive staff, because we certainly couldn't do what we do without a team. Next up, we're going to have Stacy Eastbrook, who is with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and she's going to share remarks on their behalf.
I think I'm pretty loud, so I'll just, if you can't hear me, just let me know. I'm Stacy Esbrook, Michigan Economic Development Corporation. I am really honored to be here today to represent the MEDC and talk about our support for this project, and really just to be, I'm really honored to be with the group of people who are up here speaking. At these events, we're always one of many people that are part of these partners, I should say, part of these deals, and we always come in as the last piece, and so we really appreciate the hard work that all of you go through, including the development team, to get basically to our front door. I want to start by saying congratulations to Chuck Donaldson, if you'd give a wave here. Chuck is on our staff. He is out in the field. Yes, please, round of applause for Chuck. He's really, from our perspective, while I'm here today, he was the one to shepherd this project through and to go in front of our board and request support for our program. We were able to provide a grant to this program, $1.5 million out of our community revitalization program. For those of you who might not be familiar with community development at MEDC, we have mutual goals and priorities like the city, and so our goal is to help communities like the city of Flint to help further their goals, and some of those goals are historic preservation, mixed income, mixed use developments, neighborhood developments, creating walkable communities. So as we're sitting here today and we're watching, school kids walk by as they're getting out of school, and we've got community members here, people who live in the neighborhood, you can understand from our perspective, while it was so easy for us to rally behind this project and to further our support for this project. So thank you to Communities First for letting me be part of this event today and helping us be part of this project. I think like I said, it was very easy for us to be a supporter of this project, but not to say that the road to get here was easy by any means. And I think that is very clear when you look at the number of partners that it takes to get to these, to get to the project. Sorry, I'm getting a little flustered with the microphone. The long road it takes to get to us today. So I'll end with that, and I just want to say I look very forward to coming here for the ribbon cutting. Thank you. Have a great day.
So I I think this is the perfect example of what happens when you're at a construction site, you've got temporary power, and you're clearly running an extension cord out of a window. Well, I don't know, we do have a consumers representative, Oh, well. Well, Stacy, thank you for sharing your comments. Next up, we have the Director of the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, Earl Poleski.
So thanks for having me here today. Michigan State Housing Development Authority, a lot of folks don't know what we do, but what we do is to partner to provide homes and preserve places for the people of Michigan. So we partner with good folks like Community First and Glen and Essence Wilson, who are, they're great partners, and when we hear they're involved with a project, we are happy. We know that something exciting and good is going to happen when you folks are involved. So God bless you. But this has been a particularly complicated deal. What MSHDA's contribution is to allocate the low-income housing tax credit. What is that, do you say? That's a federal tax credit that you and I all pay for that helps to subsidize the financing for a project like this so that folks can come and live here and afford to live here. There will be 45 affordable units that are built here, plus 9 market rate rent apartments, which is also good from our perspective because what we see in our state and in our country, frankly, is that while we have the tools to build low-income housing, we have fewer tools to provide housing for working folks for whom the cost of housing is growing faster than their incomes. So we're very pleased to see some workforce-priced housing here. I'm glad to see that this building is going to be used again. We have seen this time again in Michigan where buildings have become not used, but they're very well built. The buildings are incredibly well built. We know they're going to last for centuries, and this particular building is going to last longer and longer because you folks are here. We're so pleased to be here. MSHDA will be here for the ribbon cutting, and we will be here for years beyond to make sure the compliance is done for the low-income housing tax credit. I'm sorry, what am I missing?
You got compliance, that's everything.
It's all good. Okay, thanks so much.
So that's always the fun of working with all these different funding sources is the compliance piece of it because everybody's rules are different. So thank you for reminding us of your presence in our lives for the rest of our lives, probably. All right. Next up, we have State Senator Jim Ananich, and he's been supportive for quite some time. We always enjoy his remarks, so hopefully he has a great joke for us today. No pressure.
Well, thank you, Glen and Essence, for this project and for all the work you do across the city. Earl and Stacy can attest that I spent a lot of my time begging folks to bring money to Flint and advocating for the projects for our community. And one of the things that I think Earl and Stacy, because of their being here all the time for these kinds of projects, would attest that it's really easy to beg for people like Glen and Essence because they always do really top quality work. And I think that's important because sometimes in the olden days, low-income housing and affordable housing wasn't always good quality housing. And I think it's important to note that no matter if you're building a high-end home somewhere in Metro Detroit or affordable housing here, everyone deserves to have decent quality housing. And this project is going to be amazing for this community, for my friends Patty and many of the others that live around here, for my former English teacher in high school, Mrs. Goring. And Tim, I want to say that was a beautiful speech you gave earlier, and thank God I didn't have to follow you directly because I would not have wanted to do that. It's really a pleasure to be here. I was not a Coolidge Cougar, is that right? Was it Cougar? I was a Pierce Arrow, but I always have fond memories of this school when we came over here or played basketball or football. And there's another piece that's important to me. I had a mentor. It was really important to me in my life. He was a community school director when I was a kid at Pierce Elementary School, and then later on he became a 25-year principal here. His name was Jim Bracey. Some of you may know him. He was an amazing man and a great principal, and he retired here the year before the school closed. And he never got to see the chance, he's unfortunately passed, never got to see the chance to see this beautiful building resurrected. But I think that's going to be a great tribute to him and the many other amazing people that came out of here. And it's going to be a great jewel for our community. And I think it's going to be as the mayor pointed out and Council President Winfrey, it's going to be another example in the resurrection of our town. We're a very resilient people, but we need friends like you in this room to come together and help us fix these problems. And because of the great showing of support and the great partners, this is going to be another great example of that. And I appreciate your willingness to let me be a part of it. Thank you.
All right, so we're nearing the end. I will say that unfortunately, Councilman Dan Kildee couldn't be with us. He had a delay with his flight. What did I say? Nobody heard that. So we're going to strike that from the record. Congressman Dan Kildee, we didn't do, okay, yeah, sorry about that. But for many of us, this project has had some sort of sentimental value or some sort of personal connection. And I just wanted to share something really quickly before Glenn comes up and shares his remarks. And that's just, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I bought this journal. And I never have finished it, but it's one of those things you're supposed to write in every day. So clearly I'm delinquent on that because there's probably half of the days missing, and I've written it in different years and different things like that. But I thought it quite interesting when I finally picked it up again for, the third time this year to flip to September 6th, and I had written something in 2013. And I won't read the entire thing, but the key piece was that this was written on the same day as the groundbreaking for Oak Street Senior Apartments. And I said, there are so many people in the world with so many needs, and you have called us to pray for others and to be a friend to all men, women, and children. And I just want to say that I'm grateful to have that opportunity through Communities First and through the work that we do to really be a help to other people in our community that may be in need, but then also to have so many people help us to do the work that we are able to do. So just something to keep in mind as you go throughout your daily life that, we're very fortunate, just the fact that we have a presence here, and there's something that we each have to give to our community. So with that, we're going to have Glen Wilson come up and share his remarks, and then we'll get started with tours. So hopefully you guys will stick around for those. It'll be relatively quick, and it'll be fun. You'll get to see some interesting treats in the historic building.
I guess I should have had that backup battery pack like I was thinking. It always happens, something. I'm going to stick with the script today because for some reason, Essence says I always have a problem with sticking with my script, right? So I'll write something down, then I'll write it down, I'll review it, and then I'll get up here and I'll start talking about something else. So I'm gonna stick with the script today. All right. I would like to first start off by saying thank you to all the dignitaries, our board of directors, staff, funders, and community members for attending and those who have helped us make this project possible. We started on this journey about 4 years ago by talking with the neighborhood about possibilities with this school. The neighborhood said they wanted two things. First, they were concerned about apartments that were across the street at 810 South Ballinger, and they saw that they were going in disrepair, and it just wasn't a good situation. And then also they wanted to see a new mixed-use development that the whole community could enjoy here at Coolidge Elementary School that could be enjoyed by everyone. After hosting the input sessions with the neighbors and the stakeholders, we came up with a design that together ensures equity for our community. These projects are never easy, but they are definitely worth it. When it comes to historic preservation, they're more than buildings. It's more than buildings that are being preserved, but memories are being done and preserved as well. At this very place, similar to Tim, I learned archery, participated in my first Canusa game. I did my first backflip off the concrete cheese house, and I do not know if we moved that, but I remember I did it because it was this girl I was trying to impress, and she was just like, "You're not gonna do the backflip off the cheese." And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I remember actually coming up here after school to practice it so I could actually do it the next day. And my mom was like, why do you wanna go back to the school? And then I also got burns on my leg from that very slide right there. It's a steel slide, and when you would come down it, and for some reason, it's like they put it directly in the sun path. So it'd be like 150 degrees, right? So I got burns on my legs. I probably still have some on there. This place has some of my fondest memory, but it also reminds me of some of my darkest moments that would forever change my life. In '92, we had a house fire. I lost my brother, my sister, and my cousin, and I was the baby at that time. And when I say baby, about 7 years old. They were my best friends, and we all attended Coolidge together. Even in this terrible tragedy, I also remember all the love that I received from teachers and my favorite principal, Mr. Jim Bracey, and the way that the school wrapped their arms around me. This experience made me feel like I owed the Flint community the same love that they gave me. I had a dream of playing in NFL and coming back to rebuild the city with the money that I would make. However, because of some health issues, my football career ended. Even still, I had the desire to make a difference in the lives of others. It was also of the Mott Children's Health Center. I remember going there as a child, getting therapy, family and friends that saved me. And through Communities First, I wanted to extend a little of what I received from the community that embraced the lonely little boy whose life was just totally in shambles. This is not just about saving a building, but this is about preserving my memories, Tim Allen's memories, Margaret Green, Peggy Scaff, and other people. I would like to also thank Dick and Kim Scaff, Tim Allen, Gary Horan, Bill Piper, Deborah, my mother-in-law, Jason, my lovely wife, Essence, for listening to all my complaints. And I know I probably definitely got on your nerves many times. I probably still get on your nerves, Gary, right? Yep, see, absolutely. I appreciate you guys being my biggest cheerleaders and encouraging me to not quit because I was like there like a few times. I was like very close. It's like, I don't know. But we definitely appreciate the funding and support that we have received from MISTA. We greatly appreciate you, the MEDC, American Express Foundation, Phil, Jocelyn, and Becky from the Hagerman Foundation, Ridgeway and the Mott Foundation, and working with staff, Amy and Brian, Kim, we greatly appreciate you. So now, the hard part has just started, but we're going to celebrate this moment today. We're going to get to work on Monday and look forward to finishing this project on time and on budget before we get in trouble. All right, thank you.
Ridiculously damn near wrong. Because look at this.